This is Inside with Outsiders. I'm Jeremy Asgari. Behind the camera is Chris, a.k.a. BAMS, and today's special guest is Saroosh Gull.
Thank you, Jeremy.
Say your name right?
You said it just beautifully, man.
Amazing.
If it just flows.
I appreciate it.
It just flows.
Before the camera came on, you had like this great, banter back and forth, and then
I don't know what happened,
Yeah,
Jeremy.
it
You
felt
just
like
shut
you
down.
just dropped off
Rose.
the real quick. It just went
I
down.
think we should just call it the night, and I think that's it.
There's another episode of Inside with Outsiders. I'll see you guys later.
Exactly. That happens. Energy ebbs and flows, right?
It does.
flows.
It
Yep,
does.
yep.
So, Saroosh, I just want to introduce you properly.
Sure.
You are the CEO of EventCombo.
That is apparently the truth, yes.
Yes. and so, Jesus Christ. And EventCombo is a huge tool for outsiders. I mean, there's a lot of things we probably wouldn't have been able to achieve on the logistics side for us without EventCombo.
Thank you, Jeremy. I appreciate that. It goes both ways. You've been such a great partner in terms of helping us evolve the technology with your simple and complex events, all the experiences you put together. So, it's been a really, really amazing partnership for us as well. And we have a long way to go, man.
We absolutely do. And just so people know, can you explain what EventCombo is?
Yeah,
and
of course.
And how, I guess, how we use it so I don't mess up.
Yeah, no, of course.
your
I'm going to
pitch.
look into the camera and tell everybody. It's an event management platform, right? And we kind of are contrarian in our execution of the technology behind events. So, for example, you have Eventbrite, you have Cvent, you have these other really good event technologies out there, but all they do is ticketing and that's it. So we've taken a different approach to events. For example, the before event, we offer Uber, Lyft, parking lots, hotels. So when people are booking tickets, they can book an Uber to get to the event. No one does that. During the event, which you're really heavy on using, emailing attendees, creating hidden tickets and all that stuff, guest lists and everything, we do that. And then interestingly enough, we have a whole after event experience, which you may not be familiar with, Jeremy, but we just launched it. It's called Community. And, we've answered the question, what happens after your event?
Mm-hmm.
So now on EventCombo, an event can exist in perpetuity. So it's a LinkedIn for events that we built, basically. So attendees, employees, students, whoever is attending the event, after the event, connects with each other, chats with each other, shares documents, speakers, sponsors. Everyone has a place on EventCombo to connect after the event is
And this
over.
is for any event organizer?
For you, for anybody, yeah.
Not solely membership-based.
Correct.
But this would be a great feature for us.
Absolutely, for outsiders, it would be great. You already have a really powerful, a strong community, and they would love to continue staying connected after the experiences are over. So that's what EventCombo is the before, during, and after. No one else, practices that. And we're an event as a service for organizations, basically.
What you've done for us, the technologies you provided for us, the white labeling, all that's been amazing. Made it very easy for us to communicate and fulfill the needs of the participants with ticketing, with communication, with all that stuff. And we can talk for days about EventCombo. We'll talk some more about it, I also want to know about you. We've known each other for, I think, 5-6 years now.
Yep.
I think it's 5. Anyway, and it's funny, we connected randomly thanks to basically what could have been a horrific turn for my business.
For us as well, as we found out.
Yeah, other than outsiders, I've had a couple of businesses. One of them is called Hangry Garden. And we had this pop-up beer garden in Williamsburg for the summer of 2016. And following that year, after that, we didn't have the pop-up location anymore. We would execute our concepts for different companies, corporate outings, and we'd get hired by other event producers. And we were hired by the legendary, famous, infamous, I should say.
Yes, that's right.
The creator of the New York City Pizza Festival.
Pizza Festival, the Burger Festival.
Burger. It was a combination of
the
both.
Water Festival, whatever
And,
this guy did, yeah.
and I can't remember his name off the top of my head.
Yeah.
Maybe it's better we don't mention it. But basically, it was a scam. We thankfully pulled out of the event before the event took place. And But long story short, as much of a scam artist as this guy was, which unfortunate, he was a genius marketer.
Yeah, he was a really good marketer.
He was a great marketer. The thing was, he didn't understand execution.
Right.
But anyway, long story short, it led us to your platform because I decided to see how he went about using platforms to market this festival. And we connected, and
it's been great ever since.
It's been great since. But let's hear about you. Where are you from originally?
So, from Pakistan, born in Lahore. Emigrated. I'm an immigrant myself. Immigrated to New York City when I was like 5 years old.
Really? Okay.
So
why did your parents come to New York?
The usual reasons. They left Pakistan for, I think it was Germany first, then France, and then they settled in the U.S.
So did you go to these other?
Yeah. So I lived in Stuttgart when I was like 3 years old or something.
Okay.
And then in Paris. So 6 months in Stuttgart, and then I think another 6 months in France. And I have so many stories from there, even though I was like 3, 4 years old. Yeah.
What do you remember?
I remember being attacked by a little chihuahua, like a little poodle or something. And
I don't know if that's specific to like.
I remember. No, it's a family joke. That's why.
Okay.
So yes, I remember that. I remember actually.
Did you bite it back?
No, I didn't. I didn't. It's funny you said that because that's part of the joke, Jeremy. You know, me and you have this connection, man. That's the family joke, is that I bit it back. But I
Are you serious? That is
exactly.
Not the family
Yeah,
joke.
So that's so funny you said that. That's
You're
so
joking.
Seriously, man. Seriously.
Oh
So that's hilarious that you said that, like out of the blue.
I think we found the quote for the real.
Yeah.
Saroosh bites a chihuahua. Wow.
No, that's perfect.
Bring out the chihuahua.
Exactly. I don't
Stay
know
tuned.
I don't know if it was a chihuahua or a poodle. It was a small little dog.
Yeah.
Really annoying dog. It still bothers me to this day. But I remember that in Stuttgart. In France, we were staying in this palatial house. It was one of my dad's distant relatives, and he had an apple tree in the back. And I used to take an apple, I used to bite it, and then I would throw it under the bed.
Under the bed.
Under the bed. I would never finish. I would never finish an apple.
Okay.
I would take a bite and I would just throw it under the bed. And then, after a couple of weeks, the housekeeper discovered a bunch of apples under, I don't know whose bed it was. And I remember being grabbed by my ear, dragged in front of my parents by this guy to answer for my crime. And my crime was there were like 24 apples underneath this person's bed. So that's another story I remember from.
That's a really bad housekeeper. There was 24 apples under the bed when they found them.
Yeah, it was a lot of apples. Exactly. I never wondered that. Yeah, and I remember my parents not getting mad at me or something. I was a kid, but that's another story. So those two stories I remember from Europe, and then we settled in the Bronx. I had an uncle here that was already settled. So again, typical immigrant story.
Yeah. I love those stories. I mean, they're so interesting. It's really coming here with nothing,
Literally,
I guess I can't really say. I mean, I wasn't born here.
Mm-hmm.
My dad's for sure an immigrant. My dad is from Iran. He came here after my twin brother and I were born, because my parents met in Iran. Revolution started. They moved to Paris because my mom was giving birth. Literally, like. She had to be in the hospital because we're twins, so she was
in labor on the plane.
She was. We have French family. My mom is from France, so she gave birth in France and then came to the States when we were like 2 months old.
Oh, wow.
So my mom went to high school in the States, so she's not necessarily an immigrant. I was born. I was already American citizen as well because my mom had her citizenship. But
Sure.
I think the story is just amazing because it's not. It's the hardship. It's the underdog story, right?
Exactly.
And it's great coming from different cultures and seeing. How different cultures respond to acclimating to society, how different cultures acclimate, whether it be taking from governmental resources in order to get their footing, or immediately contributing to society, and what methods they do so. Like there's certain ethnic demographics that are known for specific industries and jobs.
Right.
So
exactly. Yeah. No, I've always. I never appreciated it until, college and a little bit later. You would always be embarrassed, right? As an
Yeah, I mean,
immigrant.
I agree. It's weird because I mean, kids are cruel, so I guess that's the motivating factor for you to want to acclimate or assimilate and be like and blend in and not stand out.
Exactly.
But then you realize how special it is. I mean, yeah,
exactly. And speaking of kids, right? So in school, I was the only Indian kid. I was the only, brown kid in my class. I had white friends, black friends.
No,
Asian
you
friends.
just refer to yourself as Indian, but you're Pakistani.
Same thing to me.
Right.
Same thing. Like where were my parents born?
Right. No, I understand the history because it was part of India.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I always say I'm Indian because my parents were actually born in India.
Yeah.
Right. And due to circumstances,
Due to
they became
religion,
Pakistan.
you moved to Pakistan.
So they, their whole families and whatnot. But I always say I'm Indian because I'm a big fan of India, and I have no issues with either or. But yeah, so growing up with a really diverse demographic in my neighborhood in the Bronx, I was privileged to be exposed to all these different cultures. And again, didn't realize it till later, but I love that experience that I had.
Yeah.
As hard as it was, I was bullied in school. I was called Gandhi and all these things. And kids are cruel. So you kind of suppress your roots because people make fun of you.
Right.
But only through, later years, you realize, wow, we overcame A, B, C, D, X, Y, Z, and we have so many advantages as a result of that.
Absolutely.
Right? And I think, not to get boring on you, Jeremy, but it's a bigger point because Americans who are born and raised here, I don't think they'll ever appreciate what they have because they're born into it. Just like, my kids.
I'd say, because we're speaking very generally right now, right?
Generally.
There's always exceptions, and those who travel and experience are open to it are different.
Exactly.
And I almost appreciate them even more because they come from a place where they can be closed-minded because it's so easy to be, right? You have to step out of your box and make an effort to be more open-minded, to explore cultures.
100%.
And when I see white Americans, not just white Americans, Americans in general, doing that, it's definitely there's a sense of appreciation. Like, thank you for exploring and see what the rest of the world is like.
Exactly.
Like, not expecting the rest of the world to acclimate to what your culture is.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Travel is such an important part of life, and you're right. There's a big difference between people that don't travel and travel.
Yeah,
I think it goes down to political lines with identifying people by traveling and travelers and non-travelers.
Yeah.
And you're 100% right. People that travel are multidimensional. They have a lot of context to them, and 100% that is a fact. So I always look at it this way, in that being born in America is a privilege. I mean, you're born into so many great things, a great infrastructure, a great system all around, and as an immigrant, you don't come from those same structures. So when you come here, you work harder because you respect and appreciate everything more. So anyway, I think immigrants have such an advantage, and it's good to see that being recognized these days, right?
and what I love about it also, it brings such a beautiful dynamic to adding to the culture of the United States, right?
Exactly, yeah.
At the end of the day, I saw a sign the other day. It was on Instagram. It was like one of those memes where it's a woman's holding up a sign. It says, how is your family American? Native American, slavery, refugee, or immigrant, no other options. And I was like, wow. I mean,
Powerful. Yeah, that's it.
It's true, right?
It is. It's 100%.
so, but we, the fact that I think having such an influence, like having in where we grew up, there's a lot of, there's old Italian, there's Latino, there's Irish,
Polish, German,
Well, around
Italian.
Well, predominantly in this area, it would be Irish, Italian, a lot of Europeans.
Yep.
Not too many French. There's a lot of English people live around here.
Right.
But I mean, we literally live right outside New York City, which is literally the melting pot of.
Agreed, but even talking about the families that have been here since like the 50s, 60s, 70s.
It's literally going to be predominantly Irish and Italian.
Yeah.
I mean, that's literally
and more in the 80s, Latino.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. And it's really cyclical, right? It's really cyclical. I think in the 80s, tell me if you think I'm wrong, Jeremy, but for example, in the Latino community, you had so many Dominicans coming. And I remember my neighborhood.
When would you think the Puerto Ricans?
Well,
you're Puerto Rican. When did the Puerto
50s.
Ricans immigrate?
It's going to be more in the 80s. It's going to be more the Cubans. I'm going to say
Mhm.
in
Oh,
the
yes.
mid 80s to
Mhm.
90s, it's going to be a lot of Dominicans.
Mhm.
Puerto Ricans came over in the 50s.
Right.
Yeah,
Like
that's
my
what they
father
do.
was telling
Yeah.
me that when they first started to come over here in the 50s, because my grandfather and him, they
Mhm.
worked at a silica mine in Death Valley.
Hmm.
They called it the Puerto Rican Highway. They flew into Miami, and you just got on a Greyhound bus and literally went all the way out to California.
Really?
Wow.
And it was
Wow.
literally called the Puerto Rican Highway.
Wow.
Because
Wow.
the Puerto Ricans,
I think-
those are the guys that came over here to literally work all the farms.
Oh, wow.
There was a book called. There is a book, not was. It's like a book was born and then it went away. There's a book called Down These Mean Streets
Yeah.
by Perry Thomas. I don't know if you've ever heard of it, Chris, but someone hammering, I think.
Is that
Yeah,
someone knocking at the door?
or a hammer. Should we continue, or,
Yeah, we
or
should.
do we have to run away,
I don't
Jeremy?
know. That's Bam is gonna. Yeah, I guess someone's just hammering.
Yeah,
something
it
else.
sounded like a hammer. No, but this book.
There's a guitar maker on the floor above us.
Oh wow,
Oh.
wow. All good. Listen, it's live. It's awesome. The so the book Down These Mean Streets by Perry Thomas, Puerto Rican guy, grew up in the 50s, and the book is amazing. It had such an impression on my whole life, and he talks about the challenges he had as a Puerto Rican. So he wasn't black, he wasn't white, he was Puerto Rican, and he went through his own challenges as a result of that. But we're talking about the 80s and different generations and folks coming from different places. It's an interesting dynamic, right? So now, at least for the last 20 years, you have a lot of Asians, right? You always had Asians, but you have so many Indian people coming from the subcontinent, Pakistanis, Bangladeshis, Indians and stuff. So for me, having that same background, I've observed such a spike in that category of immigration. And there's two things that I want to point out. I don't know if you relate to this, Jeremy, but if you go back to the 40s, 50s, 60s, like I'm talking as if I was around back then, but when they came to the U.S., whether they were Italian, German, or whatever, they spoke the language, they were religious, and they practiced everything. But if you look at their offspring and the third generation, no language, the religion is gone, and culturally they're American. They're no longer culturally German or Irish or Italian. So I'm noticing the same dynamic happening in my demographic with Indians and Pakistanis and everything, where that generation, like my parents, I speak the language and I'm very cultural.
Are you doing that with your children though?
That's exactly what I was getting to.
It takes effort.
Exactly, Jeremy.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I was getting to. So my kids, they don't speak the language, and it's a cycle.
Yeah.
Just like the Germans came, the Polish came, their kids forgot the roots and the culture, and now they're third, fourth, five generations in. There's no connection to the home country.
Right, unless the parents want to make that effort. And it's a big effort
That's
to, one, speak to their child in that language. And I
Exactly.
thank my mom for speaking to me in French, so I speak French.
Awesome.
Thank
Awesome.
God. I wish I spoke
Thank your
Farsi
mom, man.
too. You know,
Yeah.
I've taken some classes myself.
Yeah.
I know some very little
Yeah.
Farsi. But beyond that, also not just speaking, but having ties to the country of
Right.
origin.
Exactly.
Sending your
Exactly.
kids to those countries to
Right.
visit family and stay with family, but
Exactly.
eventually generations down,
Yeah.
how is that going to maintain?
Exactly, and that's something, as a
Yeah.
parent, that's something I'm literally considering these days. It's like my kids are totally going to be detached from what I,
Right.
experience, and I love what I experienced, man. The good, the bad, the ugly. I loved it. It made me who I am.
Right.
But my kids are, they're not exposed to it. Jeremy, I went to Pakistan after 40 years in February.
Really?
After 40 years, man. After
What
40
was that
years.
experience like?
It was just crazy. It was just in a good way. It was crazy
Right.
in a good way because what I remember, spending the early years there was obviously, I saw poverty. I saw so many, third world country things. And now when I went back after 40 fucking years, I saw like the building of an America.
Yeah.
The supermarkets, the traffic, the roads, the infrastructure that they've built and they're building, I think in like 20, 30 years, it's going to be
I mean,
at
do you
the
think
same...
that's inevitable for every major city?
Yes.
And what are your thoughts on that? Does that take away from culture? Now, I think infrastructure is necessary. It doesn't take away from culture. However, when you see certain things like supermarkets, I don't know how it was in Pakistan, but in Iran, it's bazaars, right? So it's take away part of the culture away, right? So how do you maintain, and this is conversation for not just other companies, but you're talking about Jersey City. I read an article about teetering between development and maintaining culture. How do you
Yes,
move
yes,
forward the times and infrastructure while maintaining?
Right, exactly. It's
the
it's the advancement of commercialization
Yeah,
and the
globalization.
globalization
Yeah,
and the degradation of culture.
yeah,
And I saw that. I saw that. Like, for example, there's a huge supermarket in Lahore, and that supermarket it would rival any supermarket here in the U.S.
yeah.
And very Western, but very Eastern. And I was thinking to myself, I'm like, I feel like I'm in America.
Yeah.
Like, that supermarket was more American than supermarkets here.
I had a somewhat similar experience. When I was a kid, I used to go to France to stay with my godparents, mom's side of the family, and every summer for like 3 summers in a row, we'd go to these like campgrounds, like this would be the beach, and we'd stay in these campgrounds by the beach, and like the beach was like the little sailing school, very like, mom and pop, everything. And apparently now, I haven't been back yet, and I don't know if I want to, but you go back there now, it's like big hotels now.
Exactly.
And
exactly.
it's, change is inevitable. You can't prevent things from evolving. Right. But a little part of you is like hurts.
100%.
Yeah.
I saw the same thing. I remember the house that I was born. I was born in a house. I went there. I went to the road. I recorded it and stuff. And I was walking around recording, and I scared these kids. They were like, "What's this guy doing here recording us?" But it was a neighbor. I remember it was a regular neighborhood. Now, when I just went back, I remember there were commercial buildings all around. Same shit.
Yeah.
And I was thinking to myself, like, I remember it being like a neighborhood, and now it's not a neighborhood. It's so commercialized. Businesses all around.
I'm actually really interested in knowing. You said you moved to the Bronx. I'm guessing that's in the 80s, right?
Yeah. 80s,
What part of the Bronx?
Kingsbridge and University.
So where in the Bronx is that exactly?
So
Because in the 80s, the Bronx, specifically the South Bronx, was bad.
So I listen. So Jeremy, I grew up in the ghetto. Kingsbridge Road, Jerome Avenue. That Kingsbridge Road was a train station, and 10 stops away from Yankee Stadium. And I saw people getting stabbed, shot, and I was just telling this story the other day. I forgot to who, but I remember walking up the block from where we lived in our building. I remember walking up the block and then turning into gunfire. There was a dude that was shooting in our direction. Me and my friend Brian, and I remember I have really good reflexes, and at times I don't give a shit. So at this time I didn't give a shit. Subconsciously. So I walked into the guy that was shooting in my direction. So he was shooting some dude behind us. And after that, I got a reputation for not being scared. Meanwhile, I didn't do it intentionally. I did it because I was in La La Land. So I literally walked into this guy like a badass.
Yeah.
And even he was like, what the fuck is this guy doing? I'm shooting. He's walking into me. And everyone was thinking, oh, Saroosh wasn't scared. I was scared. I just didn't realize that this guy's actually shooting. I was disconnected, exactly.
That could be dangerous for you, man.
Seriously. so that's the type of shit I saw. I saw guys getting jumped and stuff. In my high school, I went to JFK in the Bronx, John F. Kennedy.
Yeah.
And I think any John F. Kennedy high school is bad. I think. So I don't know. It's a theory.
I've heard that about like high schools, like Martin Luther King High School.
Right.
Yeah.
It's a theory I have. But my John F. Kennedy was fucking bad.
Which is messed up because like Martin Luther King was just
right.
amazing.
Yeah.
Man about
John F. Kennedy,
peace and all
same
that.
thing.
But it's got a reputation. Any high school that's named after him has a bad reputation.
Exactly. I don't know what's behind that, but I remember I have these vivid memories. I remember a guy getting shot in his foot right in front of the school. I remember this other guy getting hit in the head multiple times with an aluminum bat.
Oh my God.
He did something to some guy that jumped him. So I grew up around some crazy shit. I was so blessed because I had friends of all different backgrounds.
Yeah.
Like I said, I had white friends, black friends, Dominican, Puerto Rican. I had friends from every background. So I was able to fit in.
Yeah.
And I was able to kind of adapt to my environment.
It's a high school.
This is in high school. So I kind of scraped by like that. But you were asking me where I grew up in the Bronx. It was Kingsbridge Road, Jerome Avenue. And the really popular landmark around there is the Kingsbridge Armory, which was in the news recently. I think they were talking about turning it into like a mall or something, or a skating rink. But the Kingsbridge Armory is I was literally right across the street from that my whole youth.
Were you in the Bronx through high school?
Yeah. So elementary school from I think first or second grade to junior high school. I went to 143, and then John F. Kennedy High School. So all my
So where'd you go to college?
I went to Hunter College, CUNY.
That's where I went.
I think that's right, Jeremy. I think I knew that. I think that.
You're the
Oh my
Hunter?
God! Look at this! Look at this! Look at this! But
Oh, really?
So
Shout out to Hunter alum.
that's crazy.
Okay.
So check this out. So one of the things that attracted me to Hunter was, I think the female population was 73%
Yes,
at the
whoa,
time. You
whoa,
remember?
whoa, whoa.
So
Before we go into this, Brams, what was your major at Hunter?
Computer science.
And you graduated like last 2 years ago?
I graduated in December of 2020.
Well, hey, cheers to you,
That-
buddy.
so wait, you just said December of 2020?
Yes.
Oh, that's really recent.
No,
Oh, well, I thought-
I started going to BMCC back in 2016, 2017.
Gotcha.
And I got enough credits. I transferred to Hunter.
Wow.
And I finished the last
For-
2 years.
Gotcha. For some reason, so I think I'm a lot older than you. I'm
No.
talking,
He went to school later.
Oh, you went to school later. Okay. Okay. So I'm talking late 90s, right? So graduated high school in
I went
94.
to
and-
Hunter. I transferred twice, and I ended up at Hunter. And my first year at Hunter was 2000.
Accidentally?
No. I went. First year college was in Ohio.
Oh,
Wow.
wow.
Culture shock.
Wow.
I'm also 44 years old. You don't see a lot of gray.
We're the same, Chris. Same age. Same age. Man. Same
I'm
age,
the
yeah.
young guy here
Yeah,
today.
yeah, Jeremy's the young guy. How old are you, Jeremy?
42.
God bless you, man. That's right. That's right. Gotcha. Jeremy, how did you end up in Ohio? Well, how did that happen?
I played basketball in college.
Okay.
I went there. It was a team I could play for, and it was a really good school. Like
Wow.
Top 50 liberal arts schools in the United States is Ohio Wesleyan University.
So
So Ohio Wesleyan was a great school. They offered me scholarships for like what they call regional, like I don't know why they can't. They're not giving you like a basketball scholarship there, right?
Right,
So they
but-
gave me tons of money. It's an expensive school,
nice.
and it was the best school I got into. So I went there. It was a great experience because and we're on the topic of culture.
Yeah.
I grew up here. I thought this was the norm. I thought this was normal. So I go there and I was shocked that that's normal. That's the United States.
Right.
This is not. We're in a bubble here. So that was a great way for me to understand the dynamic of American society and culture.
No, 100%.
Yeah.
I can totally relate in somewhat of a different way. So Bronx kid, CUNY, public schools, the whole thing. Used to hang out in Harlem and Washington Heights and all these areas. I saw nothing but poverty,
Yeah.
underserved communities, broken homes,
Yeah.
single parent homes. That's all that was around me. Come college, I think my second year, started expanding my friend circle, and started through then meeting different people. So check this out. So I started establishing friendships with people at Stony Brook, and University of Buffalo, all the way up in Buffalo, 6, 7, 8 hours away, Rochester, and that opened up my eyes. That was my first exposure to, like you just, you mentioned your Ohio reference. That was when I realized, like, holy shit, there's more to life than the Bronx.
Yeah.
And I just happened to naturally befriend affluent kids, and then I realized what their parents did, and then so eyes were opened, and I was like, holy shit.
I was very fortunate because my mom found a way to get the French government to pay for my brother and I to go to a United Nations school.
Wow.
UNIS. So we went there, and that was like
That's
I mean,
amazing.
That was a bunch of kids that were diplomats kids.
Exactly.
New
The most
York,
spoiled kids.
Manhattan
Yeah,
living
yeah,
kids. And then
yeah,
from
yeah,
there, we
yeah.
left there and went to school in Hoboken to a private school there where it was more like
Wow.
they're giving, low income housing
Wow.
type of kids scholarships.
Yeah.
So that's when I really I went from UNIS to that school, and that's when I really actually fell in love with hip hop, because before that was like the Fat Boys, it was like Kid and Play, but then going to this place in Jersey was like Tropical Quest, Das Effects, all
Yeah,
this
speak-
stuff.
So again, I can relate to that. Bronx breakdancing.
Yeah.
I forget the guy's name now, but the guy who started breakdancing used to live up the block.
Crazy Legs, from
I
Rock City
think-
Crew.
Yeah, Crazy Legs. I think I don't remember the name. I don't remember the
Yeah.
name, but he used to live up the block, and Run DMC,
Yeah.
LL Cool J. I mean, that's what I was exposed to. And then check this out. So I was into hip hop at this time when it was still new, rocking my Adidas, the Indian kid with hip hop gear.
Yeah.
I had a 14-carat rope chain.
You did?
I had a 14-carat rope chain.
Was it for Canal Street or was it real?
Yeah, I think it was fake.
Yeah.
I think it was fake because I remember that shit started turning green on me.
Yeah, that's fake.
So keeping it real, man.
Yeah.
So I remember rocking that shit. And then check this out. This is the circle that I had. I was equally a metalhead.
Yeah.
Metallica, Iron Maiden,
Well,
I mean
same with me, I
Megadeth,
do
all.
both.
Yeah,
I mean, that
and-
goes to like house, plus like, yeah.
And back then,
Yeah.
it was like, what the fuck are you doing? Are you this or that? It was so binary.
Well,
You can't be
yeah,
both.
That's exactly. Well, the thing was, plus I like skateboarding, but also a basketball player. So it was a mix of everything. And
Isn't
and
that
the
amazing?
Fact that I love the fact that I got to, and I'm sure you do,
Yeah.
kind of make your way between these scenes because you got to explore different cultures.
Exactly. It is like, I'm so happy that I got to experience that. All sides of the coin, man. And it made me who I am. And that's why, I am able to really put myself in other people's shoes.
Yeah.
And empathize, and at least I think I can empathize, and I appreciate others.
So you went to Hunter because it was 73% female.
It's gonna get me in trouble. At the time, it was really cool. My cousin used to go there. I actually had two cousins that went there, so it kind of worked out. But Jeremy, just to go back on the, because I feel really passionate about this thing, right? The Stony Brook example, and connecting with these affluent friends and their parents and things like that. It made me realize that there's a whole world out there, as I was saying, that's really affluent and living the American dream, right?
Right.
Houses in the suburbs, this and that. And then there was a big gap that I observed between where I grew up and where the rest of these people were seemingly enjoying life. That's why today I pay extra close attention to diversity and all these things. And I can spot bullshit on diversity. A lot of big corps are, diversity this, inclusion that.
Yeah.
But in my opinion, inclusion is really beyond the color of skin or anything like that. It's.
Are you giving my speech?
Yeah, no,
Are
I'm
you giving
Jeremy.
my outsider speech?
I am.
On my podcast?
Maybe,
Go
Jeremy.
for it.
Maybe.
You
maybe.
are. Go ahead. I want to hear it.
But so, and this is a strong opinion.
Yeah.
Some may agree with it. Some may disagree with it. But and we built something called EventCombo Labs, by the way, which I'll tell you about that too. But inclusivity is more than just having women on your team and your executive leadership, having black folks or Hispanic folks or Indian folks, whatever, on your team. It's more about a difference of opinions, different people altogether.
Yeah.
And I don't see that being practiced anywhere. Inclusivity is very optical. It's not really,
It's
substantial.
the reason why I said, "Are you giving my speech?" and giving you a hard time as a joke,
No,
honestly,
yeah.
was because at every start of our event, every one of our events to start, I give a speech just welcoming everybody. But every time we have that welcome speech, I include, whenever there's an event with a sponsor, people want to tag a sponsor. But I tell them, well, I'm going to take it one step further. You have a vested interest into tagging your sponsors, and here's why. We're all about diversity, whether it be race, age,
gender, whatever,
sexual orientation,
whatever.
But uneasily forgotten the aspect of diversity is socioeconomic status, financial status.
Yes.
And we use a lot of the dollars we get from sponsors, Fat Tire, Turn Oil Water, we get money from them, but other sponsors, to offset the cost of our tickets. And because we can take this money and apply that to logistics, to other costs.
You're subsidizing
and so on.
Yeah.
So tickets can still be affordable and people don't bat an eye when they purchase on a ticket.
Absolutely.
So
Yeah.
when you were talking about that.
And Jeremy, I know that from because I asked you about this a few weeks ago when you forced me to go on the hike with you.
Wait, hold on. So he forced you to go on a hike?
Yeah,
he twisted his arm.
He twisted my arms
First
and
off,
legs.
he's been an extreme supporter of Outsiders. He loves this show.
Yeah, of course.
And he wanted to be on the show.
Yeah.
But I told him he wanted to be on the show.
And
what did I say?
I got to do it. So I was supposed to go on the 9/11 bike ride, which it didn't work out.
Yeah.
And I go hiking all the time with my family.
Yeah.
And I made the mistake. I got so excited on the hiking trip with you and the wonderful group of outsiders that were there that I didn't pace myself. So I was like lunging ahead of everybody, only to exert myself and then end up being last, right? So, but anyway, I had a great time. I made it, of course.
Yeah.
I had a great time. But no, I asked you about this, and credit to you. I said, hey, Jeremy, why don't you, increase your pricing a little bit, monetize up for it, right? And you said, hey, no, Saroosh, we have to make it inclusive. We have to make it accessible. And I was like, bow down, man. I mean, mad respect, right? So I know you're all about that and stuff, right? So Jeremy, on our side, what we've done is, and I've had this since inception, basically. It's a program called EventCombo Labs, and growing up where I grew up, I know that it's not easy to bridge the gap. So a kid that grew up in the Bronx or Harlem, things are getting better now, no doubt about it. Things are getting so much better. They're almost getting opposite. But the kids that grow up in these areas, they don't get access to getting a tech job or anything like that. So we built EventCombo Labs to train and give employment to underserved communities, to untapped talent in underserved communities. And we've been able to give positions to these young adults, these college students, that they otherwise were not going to get so easily, right? Getting a job with Facebook is, it's not that easy. So anyway, so I love that focus that you share because that's the only way to kind of, push everyone forward and stuff, right? But I digress, man. I digress. Yeah.
I love what you're doing. I love that EventCombo Labs.
Yeah.
It's cool, like kind of similar to people like, well, I had Jamal, a friend of mine, interviewing him, and he's like asking me the purpose of doing this interview show, right? And I mean, honestly, Chris has been great because whenever we come up with a creative idea, I can
run it,
and he's also passionate about having a creative outlet.
Yep.
And just being able to be really creative with a passion of yours, knowing that it's going to all culminate and come together and be
it's a big thing. Listen, you're a creator, right? And creators are what move society forward, right? Creators, if they didn't exist, society wouldn't exist. We wouldn't have all the advances we have, right? And the other thing I noticed about this, I'm going to stop complimenting you, by the way. It's going to go to your head. So this is not good. This is not the way this should happen. I shouldn't be complimenting
I'm just going to call you when I come down.
Hang on, guys. I got to switch to a small lens. I got to get like a 28 millimeter because the head gets any bigger.
Yeah, exactly. You're going to need a bigger lens.
Yeah.
No, but and this isn't a compliment for you exactly, but the I learned something a few years ago. I was at this event, and there was a guy. His name is James Quigley. I still admire him. He's an amazing guy. CEO of a company called Canvas out in Virginia. And he was speaking, and he said something so powerful, and it sticks to me to this day. Check it out. He said in the audience, I was in the audience, he said, how many of you in the audience right now are here because you are seeking help? Whether it's fundraising, looking for new clients, or whatever it is. You're looking for help. That's what we're there. I was there seeking help. And so I was one of the assholes that raised their hands. There's a bunch of assholes raised their hands because we're all looking for shit, looking for help. So he said, okay, all right, great. He goes, you're all climbing this ladder towards a goal, and you're all looking up.
Yeah.
And you have your arms raised because you want someone to put their hand down and pull you up. And he said, how many of you are reaching down and pulling other people up? Because you may think you're at the bottom of the ladder, but no, every one of you is on a certain step.
Yeah.
And there are people beneath you. So it's our job to not only always reach up and get help, but it's our job to also, at least 50% of the time, if not 100% of the time, reach down and pull others up as well.
I like that.
And again, being a creator, I think that's something you have to accept as a responsibility, right? So you've created this great brand and, Outsiders and a movement. You've got a following. You've got members. And it's up to you, it's up to me to reach up behind us and pull others ahead too, because that's how society moves forward, man.
Yeah.
I was going to ask you why you called yourself an asshole for raising your hands, but your explanation just explained why.
Well, I always, when you're selfish and admittedly so, right? When you're selfish and you're looking for something, you're an asshole. But when you turn that into an actual positive trait by helping others and whatever you're building, if it's going to help others, then you eliminate that asshole factor, right?
Gotcha.
And that's the bottom line.
I wouldn't call yourself an asshole for looking for something, but if you're selfish and doing that, then
then you're an asshole. Exactly.
Yep.
Yep.
What did you study at Hunter, by the way?
Computer science, like
you
Chris.
did?
Yeah, me and Chris were in the same classes, only 8 years apart. He was sitting next to me. We just didn't know. We're like in a different dimension. You can make a fucking TV show out of that, Chris. We're good.
You might be able to. Start drawing somewhere, Jeremy. We can make a TV show.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you're saying, Jeremy. Yeah. Computer science, man. Same.
You want to switch spots?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Yeah.
What did you do out of college? Did you find a job right away? 'Cause I know obviously.
So-
when did
Mhm.
you didn't come up with EventCombo in college and all that? So
I'll tell you my
what is
story.
your event? What is your path?
Yeah. So Jeremy, this is gonna. You have a sofa. I need to lie down. It's gonna turn to a psychiatry session.
We're gonna get the sofa out here eventually.
Exactly.
But
I have a really nostalgic. We were talking about nostalgia earlier. In '99, I just got done with school. '99, I remember this is before the .com bust.
Yeah.
So there was a interview I had just done. Well, my first job was with Trade.com, and not E-Trade, but Trade.com. It was a firm called Bluestone Capital, and it was an interview I had just done for that position near Bryant Park in the city. And I'm coming down the elevator, I'm coming out of the building, and who do I see? Who do I bump into? And we all live in the Bronx, right? My fucking parents, man. My mom and dad. They're literally walking into me as I'm walking out of my very first corporate interview.
Wow.
And could you imagine, at the time, I was like, what the hell are you guys doing
Yeah.
here? And they're like, what the hell are you doing here? And I was all dressed up and stuff, wearing a tie back then and everything, 99, right?
Yeah.
And that, to this day, stays with me. Because I didn't value it at the time, but for them, it was a prideful moment. Their son is older
Right.
now and blah, blah, blah. But at that time, I was like, shit, I ran to my parents. So anyway, that's the story that I love thinking about
Yeah.
these days because it was a beautiful moment. But anyway, so I started at Trade.com as a developer. My second gig was at Fresh Direct. We all know Fresh Direct, right?
Yeah.
I joined Fresh Direct as a developer / production coordinator. They called me. I'd coordinate between Fresh Direct, as you know, has like 30, 40 departments because it's an online grocery store. So they have a meat department. They have all this.
Yeah.
So imagine converting those products into sellable technologies.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I kind of facilitated there. Really, really amazing experience.
Okay.
Fast forward, I've been at J.P. Morgan Chase. I've been at Pfizer. So a corporate background, always in the product space. And then, through some idea generation with some friends, started EventCombo back in the end of 15.
How did that happen, and what need did you see or what problem did you see yourself solving with that? I mean, I already know because you're solving a huge need for us in many levels, but
There's
coming from the corporate world, how did you decide to go into this industry, this realm?
Yeah. So Jeremy, I've always, like I said, I'm a product guy. I always loved building something, and it turned out to be products, right? And being a product guy, I bought a ticket for an event. I had some friends coming from Arkansas and LA at the time, and I remember they had to book a hotel separately. And I remember driving in to see them. I had to pay for parking separately. Then went to a restaurant. It was all a separate experience.
Right.
Parking, hotel, restaurant, event.
Yeah.
Right? And the idea was, I was like, there's something fucked up here.
Yeah.
Right? Something is miserably fucked
Yeah.
up. And so at the time, this guy that I was introduced to, his name is David Solduko, turned out to be a co-founder of mine.
David Solidoku?
Yeah. You probably know David. Shout out to David, yeah.
Was that his name Marina?
No. I'm forgetting
He's
the
Russian,
question.
right?
He's a Russian guy. So you know
Is he
David.
married to a Portuguese girl?
Yes, you know David.
I went to his wedding in St. Petersburg, Russia.
Are you serious? David, what's up? Jeremy's here. What's up? So that's David.
I was at his
That's
wedding
David.
in
So
St. Petersburg, Russia.
that's great. So how-
in 2007?
So you know David, or
six.
you know his wife, or what's
I know David's family through. Well, I knew them, but I wasn't tight with them. My good friend JB was really tight with their family, and me and JB, who's like my travel partner, like me and him went to like Egypt,
Wow.
Argentina, Uruguay,
Yeah.
Russia. Like we went to like Japan. We went to all these
Right.
places within 10 months.
Yeah. Wow.
And,
10 months.
And one of the places.
So wait, hold on. You were on the run. You robbed the bank.
Exactly.
And you were,
Exactly. I was on the run.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, but it's crazy.
So David, what's up again?
Is he your partner at EventCombo?
Yeah. So you didn't know. So he's a co-founder in EventCombo. He helped come up with the
Is he
entire.
still involved?
He's not involved anymore.
Okay.
Not involved anymore. He was at Jet, and then he's at Walmart. But David, he's still a co-founder. He built or helped build the entire infrastructure in the back end, like how how is this part supposed to connect to this part, and that type of
Such
stuff.
a small
He's
world.
David
My
is
mind still
he's
blown.
he's a brilliant guy. I love that guy. He's so sharp. You give him a problem, and he'll give you back solutions that you couldn't even imagine. That's what he did with me. So I took the idea to him, and he came up with the whole architecture for this, and that's how it kind of materialized from there. Snowball effect. But yeah, David is the man. He's amazing.
So you came to me with this idea. You know, I could have sworn for some reason you were somehow affiliated with entertainment, nightlife, events.
So I in 98, 99, I used to be one of those assholes that used to hand out flyers on the streets of New York City, right? And Roxy, Metronome, and the Limelight.
Who did you work for at Metronome?
I didn't work for anybody at Metronome. I remember there was an Indian nightclub promoter called D&D, and I basically partnered with them, under them. So real asshole shit. You know, nightclub promoters are assholes, right? So and never you, Jeremy, but nightclub promoters are assholes, right? So this always comes up. It's the same thing here. It always comes up. It's something you can't escape.
Yeah.
It's a past you can't escape from, right?
But what's funny is if you're the diamond in the rough where you're just not that much of an asshole.
Right, exactly.
Right, Bams?
Exactly.
I said not an
So,
asshole.
but not for nothing. Being in the nightclub industry teaches you so many valuable lessons. Yeah. And I so respect and appreciate that shit.
It teaches you to hustle. It teaches you marketing. Because you know why? Because you got the same product you're supposed to market day in and day out. I was doing 5-6 parties a week at one point. And how to make sure. And
you make good money, Jeremy. You make good money. Yeah.
You gotta make it seem like every night was a unique night.
Right. Hey, how do you do it? It's so creative.
How do you do that? I'm like,
you're basically
comes in so handy.
You're pulling shit out of your ass.
You actually have outside has unique experiences.
Right.
Outside has so much different things.
Exactly.
But like to have to market a product that was very similar every week to marketing a product which has like so much more value is become.
And it's the hardest job in the world. I mean, because you're really getting people to commit to come out to your party when they have 50 other parties to go to.
Right.
Why? Right? It's a gift. It's a talent. And so events have always been with me for 25 years. It's been in my DNA the whole time. So I always had an interest in it, and God knows, 2 decades later.
When did you launch? When did you start EventCombo?
So EventCombo, we formed it legally in 15, at the end of 15.
So I met you not 2 years after you started.
But just about.
That's insane.
But Jeremy, when we met is when the product actually was in full-fledged mode, because it took us 2 years to literally get it off the ground. It took 2 years to build. We made a lot of mistakes. We hired the wrong people. A lot of bullshit.
Investors to
we raised capital at the end of 15, early 16.
Yeah.
And we made the early mistakes that entrepreneurs make with really bad IT. And anyway, it took us 2 years. We built out, and 17 was the first full year in operation, and that's around the time we met.
And when did you go from corporate? When did you go full-time EventCombo?
Around 17, around the time where the full product was out.
Let me ask you, that's a nerve-wracking jump. How'd you feel?
Definitely, ask my wife, right? Definitely stressful time. There were before then, there were times I didn't have money for gas. I didn't have money for food. There was a good few months where I was like, holy shit,
and
what's
you had
happening?
A family already.
Yeah, exactly. I had a mortgage, I had the whole thing and stuff. But it's someone in my team, Manish, who's on my, he runs my marketing team. Manish said to me the other day, he was like, you're such a risk taker. And I was getting off the phone with him. And then after I hung up, I was like, yeah, I'm a fucking risk taker. I take daily risks, man.
Self-proclaimed badass.
Yeah, exactly. And
it's true. Taking that risk yourself and leaving the comfort of a stable paycheck. When you really think about it, you're creating more stability now than you did when you're working for someone.
It's a whole thing about creating generational wealth and the whole thing. It requires sacrifice.
Yeah.
But the risk-taking part, Jeremy, just to touch on that on a second, that shit is life, man. Mm-hmm. Taking risks is life, right? And I take so many risks on a daily basis. It's amazing that I'm still around.
Apparently, you're walking at guys that are shooting at you.
Exactly. I'm born and getting chased by poodles in Germany.
You've been by poodles and chihuahuas.
Right.
And then biting them back.
And biting them back, exactly. So, but I think for some people...
Watch this episode. He talks about biting poodles as a 3-year-old.
You're right, exactly.
There you
Yeah.
Walking
go.
toward-
That's me
Vicious,
too.
vicious, and
Riding a
aggressive.
poodle.
Riding poodles at 3 years old, walking to guys firing at you,
Yeah, exactly.
and then quitting corporate America and going
Ex-
entrepreneur.
You gotta
Exactly.
shorten it down just a wee bit. That's
Yeah.
too long.
We'll put it down
We'll figure
to
it out,
5-6 words. Yeah, 5-6
Poodle
words.
biting bullet dodger.
Exactly.
Perfect.
Marketing
There you go,
mind.
man. That's it.
Think about it.
Exactly. 100%, Jeremy. No, but I think risk taking is life, man. I think we've been blessed with this life. If you're not going to take risks and try to build something or innovate, what's the point, man? Do something
I
different.
agree.
Create jobs. Do things for others, right?
And I want to shout out
Yeah.
Chris because he's
course,
got
of course,
a corporate job,
Yeah.
but I mean really minimizes, like he packs all his work into a couple of days, and then he's got this beautiful studio
Set up. Yeah, no, this is
His-
amazing.
He's
Yeah.
got like all these creative outlets. This guy, I've known him since we were kids, and he was an asshole when we were kids. Right?
Really?
But
Who wasn't an asshole?
Yeah, who was? Yeah,
right,
exactly.
but I bring that up because I didn't know this about him until a few years ago. About he's an artist,
Yeah.
and I
No
never
doubt.
I never would have known that had I
Right.
not had he not been friends of mine as an adult.
Right.
But
Yeah, no,
what he's doing is great. I mean, he built this.
Yeah, no, this
He built
is
this.
yeah.
This is his production. Like
Right.
this is
no,
amazing.
this is like 100% Hollywood, man.
Absolutely.
It
People are like, yo,
makes Hollywood look like shit.
the quality you guys are doing. I'm like,
Yeah, no.
Chris,
I told you that, Jeremy. That's what I told you. I
You
wanted
did,
to be
yeah,
on the
yeah.
show because of the aesthetics. The
Yeah.
aesthetics are so gorgeous here,
Yeah.
man. So mad props to you, Chris. Mad props.
I
man.
appreciate that because I
yeah.
look at the videos and I don't like them.
Well, the day. Hold on. I'm the same way. The day you start liking your videos is the day they'll turn into shit.
Thank you.
So never like
Thank
your
you.
work, because the day you start liking your work
there's
is
gotta be
when
balance though.
you. Well,
You can't
I
go
agree.
crazy.
So I'm an extremist on that side. Balance can also kill you. But I agree with you, Jeremy. I think that in order to maintain sanity, you
What I
need
mean
balance.
is you can't drive yourself so crazy that you
Obsessive
you-
and- right,
you
right,
can't you can't have these creative visions.
You need to
It'll-
check
it can't
yourself.
kill your- it can't kill your creativity.
You need to check
Well,
yourself.
That's why not not to but in his
Yeah.
not liking what you're doing is going to keep you creative.
Right,
It's going to keep
right.
you
It's what
striving.
keeps
for
it
Well, it's
more.
going.
almost like the art say kill your darlings, right? So when there's a painter or a painting, then
Right.
you
Reset.
think he's got a final product,
Right.
and then he goes over it and he covers
Exactly.
it. That's
exactly.
killing your
Yeah,
darlings.
yeah,
That's,
yeah.
I mean, if you see the first few videos, this is evolved, and it's going to
Mm-hmm.
continue to evolve.
Yeah, no, of course. It's going to, and again, it wouldn't evolve if Chris settled.
But
Right, if Chris
that's,
said-
that's the, and
Yeah.
what's funny, I didn't know that side of Chris. I mean, essentially, you're a perfectionist,
Yeah,
right?
that's another way of saying it.
Uh,
It's a
not-
curse and a blessing.
No, it is. I just all right. Well, to keep it short, his brother's one of my best friends.
Got it.
So his brother's very creative, very artist. So
Got it.
I
got it.
I surround it.
Yeah.
I work with a tattoo artist.
Of course.
So I'm surrounded by creative
Yeah,
people.
yeah,
So
yeah,
I
yeah.
try to keep my creativity almost to their level.
What's
Right.
funny
But
is
I'm-
that they're impressed by
it's-
his work, and he doesn't realize it.
Really?
And but
Really?
I'm surrounded by Pablo.
Yeah.
Pablo's he was one of the head Google search engineers.
Yeah.
Wow.
Like
Wow.
I'm surrounded by people like that. Like
That
those
goes a
peop-
long way, Chris.
Those
That
people
goes a long way.
I know in my mind they're way above me,
Right,
and I got to
right, right.
strive to keep up
But
with those guys.
Bams, you've surrounded
right.
yourself by these people.
Yeah.
You put that in. That's your network.
Right,
That
right.
that's a skill.
Yeah, and you attract that
Yeah.
too, Chris. You attract
Yeah.
that. You naturally attract that too, and that's what really makes you a well-rounded. Not just you, but anyone. It makes a well-rounded
Oh, of course, yeah.
individual and stuff. So no, mad props, man. I love this shit. I think Jeremy, same thing is kind of true for me. I've always been, I was telling you. So how did I get into this network of kids that were at Stony Brook and
Yeah,
wherever?
yeah.
How did I do that? Just like Chris is saying, right? Just a natural affinity to
Yeah.
surround yourself with people that are smarter than you, more creative than you, and you absorb their energy, their positive energy, and that allows you to grow as well. So it's like a natural thing, man.
Yeah.
I love it. I
Well, it's like
love
you
it.
said, it's a
yeah.
give and take, or hand up and hand down.
Right, exactly,
You know, same
exactly,
concept.
exactly. 100%. There's there's enough talent, there's enough money, there's enough opportunity to go around. Let's not hold on to it, right? We should share it. Are you texting me? I'm right here, man.
No, I'm not texting you. I'm actually, we've gone through a lot of your path and your
Yeah,
story.
yeah, of course.
And,
You're going through the notes, so
and
you got to
now-
get to chapter 6. You got.
What happens in chapter 6?
Oh
Saroosh?
man,
I just
you-
said that we're also at 55 minutes. right
Okay.
now.
holy
understood.
shit, Chris! Holy shit.
So you've actually gone. We've learned a lot about your path and how you ended up at EventCombo, and where you will end up, we'll find out more. We'll have you back on the show.
Oh, absolutely, man.
But there's a few questions I asked everybody.
Please, Jeremy. Yeah.
So, is there a dream that you've yet to achieve?
Oh, hell yeah, man. Absolutely.
It could be personal. I mean, what is it? And it could be personal.
I don't want to share what it is.
Is it personal?
Because I hate being judged. No.
No one is a judgment-free zone.
Here it is, but the fucking people watching, it's all judgment, man. It's
You
all
think
fucking
here,
judgment.
yeah,
All you
right.
people
Once you
judge.
say it, I'm gonna be like,
Yeah.
loser!
Yeah, right. Exactly. You type in the comments, this guy's a fucking loser. Yeah. Unfortunately for me, Jeremy, there isn't just one dream. There's many more dreams to achieve. I think
one that really stands out. Like, if there's one that
I think
really,
one really big thing I have to achieve, and this has to happen in the next 5 to 7 years, is I want to create an institution. This might sound really cheesy, but this is what keeps me going. I want to create an institution that mentors, educates, and opens up doors for underprivileged youth, right? And this is something I got from my dad and my mom. They were always about this, always helping those that needed help. So one of my goals, and it's a dream, is to build an institution, whether it's a physical space or an entity that is a bridge between where people are, point A, and where they want to go. And we can kind of facilitate that and stuff. So on my little small scale pathetic level, I've been doing that. But I need to do it on a big scale level.
what's funny,
right?
you think it's small scale, but you're on that ladder, like the guy said.
Sure, I'm on like step one, right? But a long way to go.
In your eyes, but you could be, it's all perspective.
It's all perspective, but that's the biggest driving factor I have right now. And I've given myself 5-7 years to achieve that. It's going to require a lot of capital. It's going to require a lot of governance and infrastructure and policies. But I know I'm going to do it. There's nothing stopping me. But that's a big dream.
You got outsiders and me as a resource as well. So
Of course, Jeremy. Of course, man. Of course.
What is your most embarrassing moment? You seem like one that would have a great embarrassing moment.
or many.
Yeah, many.
There's
Like
too many to
walking
speak
right
of.
into a
man.
gunfight.
Yeah,
That's
like
one,
walking into a gun battle, right? Or shooting myself in my foot. I know.
Yeah, exactly. That was you, wasn't it?
Right.
Some guy shoot himself in his foot. No, that was you.
I'm honestly baffled now because there's like 50,000 embarrassing moments that I've been through. I don't know which one to share with you. The least embarrassing or the most embarrassing?
The most embarrassing.
Obviously the most
Listen,
embarrassing, right?
Most embarrassing is to get us views.
Yeah.
And plus, that was the question. You're most embarrassing.
Oh, that was the question? I just heard the word embarrassing. I was like, oh, shit. I can't really, I'm drawing a blank right now, man. But it'll come to me.
That's pretty embarrassing.
It is. I'm drawing a blank right now. Exactly. It is. But just too many to think of, man, honestly. Wow. That's a good question,
well,
man. You stumped me, man. You stumped me.
All right, good.
Yeah.
I win.
Yeah.
Is there anything that you want to share that I have not asked you?
That's also a really, really great question. No, Jeremy, one other reason why I'm so grateful for our partnership is the whole outdoor dynamic. I love the outdoors, right? You can probably tell I don't play sports. You can probably already tell, right?
I can't tell.
But as a kid, I used to play
baseball players
baseball.
that look like you?
Yeah, I used to play baseball as a kid.
Yeah.
Loved baseball. But
Also, cricket players.
cricket, I don't know shit about. Totally ignorant. When my people talk to me about cricket,
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, sure, shut the fuck up. I don't care. I could give two shits about cricket.
Yeah.
But now I could give two shits about sports. I don't care about sports either. But outside, hiking, biking, skiing, and all these things, I'm such a big fan of. I do hiking, I do mountain biking, but I just want to share that I love that. That's one thing we didn't talk about, and that's one of the biggest reasons why I'm happy and excited about a partnership, because I feel like we're contributing to your
Absolutely.
facilitating that for other people.
Yeah.
So I feel like I'm in my, again, small, pathetic little way, I'm kind of helping out.
That
with
reminds
right?
me, I'm gonna need a little boost on a couple of events coming up.
All right, no problem, man.
soon, so I might need your help.
We rock it.
I
I'll
know.
call our friend. What's his name? The pizza festival guy.
Oh yeah, call him.
I'll call him, and there you go, man.
So this is the end of our interview. We have a 5 rapid fire question segment.
Oh shit!
So
All right, I gotta go.
Not yet. So you know how that works. So whatever comes to mind first, don't think about it. All right. If you weren't running EventCombo, what would you see yourself doing?
Probably being a chief executive officer of another company.
Okay.
Yeah.
Any company that you like to be CEO of if you didn't have EventCombo?
This is going to sound really, really cheesy, but Tesla.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's not
Disruptive,
cheesy,
and
yeah.
it's I love what my man Elon is doing.
Your boy, yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Can I have a second company as well?
Yeah.
Chase.
Really?
Chase Bank, Jamie Dimon, amazing what they've done.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's not as big of a popular company.
It's not, but it's the biggest bank in the world.
Really?
And
I didn't realize.
and arguably it's the biggest bank in the world. But Tesla, for the
Yeah.
technology side and everything. Yeah.
What's your greatest fear?
The dark. My greatest fear is you had a buddy here earlier who said something really, really strong. I wouldn't even get into that. It's so scary, that thought. But something even scarier than that is failing.
Yeah.
Right? Is failure, and that's coming from a guy who also loves failure, but it scares the shit out of me.
Let me ask you this,
Yeah.
and this is something that I battle with because I'm motivated by fear of failure,
Right.
motivated by fear, but I also would prefer to be motivated by passion. So do you find a balance, and do you find yourself being motivated by?
Jeremy, the question and the point you just raised now is the most philosophical shit you've said all day, man. Seriously, what you just said is so powerful.
It's
some deep shit.
I fight with myself because the fear motivates me, but I don't know if it's coming from a place that I'd want to be motivated by.
Right,
No,
right.
when
I'm in the same boat,
and I
man.
think the catalyst of fear versus passion produces a different product.
Yes,
right?
100%. Yeah.
So with passion, it's just, I feel like it's such
Exactly.
a creative, unique product.
It's and
whereas fear is a grind.
that's true. We're the same, and that sentiment. What I've found is that fear is a motivator,
Yeah.
right? Passion is a motivator, and I've been able to kind of categorize, compartmentalize each one. So I have the fear compartment that I use to pull triggers to perform certain actions,
Yeah.
and I use the passion part as well. So I've been able to kind of compartmentalize and utilize both mechanisms.
They're both helpful resources.
They really, really are.
As long as they're checked.
As long as
Yeah.
they're checked. You need the balance, right? But fear of failure is my biggest fear. What does it say about me that it doesn't stop me, right?
Right.
So I'm always chasing after achievements and innovation and things like that. But failure is fucking scary, man.
Yeah. I agree. It's one of my biggest fears,
Right.
if not the biggest fear.
Yeah.
Favorite city other than New York City?
Used to be Boston. Now it's Kelowna in British Columbia. Yeah, look at
Really?
your reaction. You probably never heard of it, right?
Heard of it.
But
yeah.
you're the avid traveler. You got to go there.
Okay.
So it's a town, city, whatever you want to call it. Kelowna. It's in British Columbia. It's about a 5-hour drive from Vancouver, 5-6 hours give or take. But heaven on earth. It's wine country, and just beautiful lakes, beautiful mountains, and everything like that. It's like a little nook in the world that I was so happy when I was there. So Boston I like, and Georgetown are my other two cities because they're college towns, youth, vibrancy, and bars and all these things. But now that I'm an old man, Kelowna is my shit.
Still visit it. This question is one I actually want to really know the answer to. When coming up with names for EventCombo, what came as a close second to the name EventCombo?
Oh man, that's a really good question, Jeremy. I'm gonna try to answer that. I don't remember. First of all, we got really lucky with the name.
Yeah.
We got so
It's a great
lucky
name.
with the name.
Yeah.
When
I mean, I feel the same about Outsiders.
I agree, it's like it was like meant to be, right?
Yeah.
Like sometimes you think like this shit was meant to be.
Yeah.
Otherwise, how did I end up with it, right? Like
Absolutely.
Outsiders, right?
Yeah.
It was meant to be. So the same thing with EventCombo. Like to this day, I wonder how did we end up with it. I don't remember some other names we considered. I know we considered like a dozen or two more, but there were like tacky shit.
Yeah.
Like,
Give me an example.
examples that were in the running for like a split second.
Listen, they could be as tacky as you want because you have a great name now. So
Yeah, no,
whatever.
exactly. No, but it's super cheesy. Event World, fucking Event Sphere, stupid names. Luckily, that were not even available. But those are things that we came up with at the time.
Okay.
But combo fit because we combine
Right.
all these
Yeah,
things, right?
and
So
especially now that you're involving more than just
it-
event ticketing platform.
yeah, exactly. So at the time there was Eventbrite,
Yeah.
and they seem like they don't exist anymore, but they're still around. And so event had to be there, and you had to have kind of a second word that complemented your
Isn't
business. So-
Eventbrite public?
Yeah, Eventbrite went public in 18 or 19. 18
Okay.
or 19, yeah.
The last question
Mm-hmm.
is my favorite part of the show. What is your favorite food?
Oh, man. So, this is the reason why I'm 25 pounds heavier than the last time I checked my weight.
Ooh.
But, whoa, look at this. Thanks,
Wait,
Chris.
how much
Thanks,
did you
thanks,
bring?
thanks.
Oh my God.
Right. So I thought there'd be a big party here, Jeremy. I didn't know it'd
It
just
is.
be
Oh, this guy was out the pizza.
the three of us.
Look at this packaging over here. This. I've never seen pizza. I usually seen a box.
So this is
Where's this
from Brooklyn Pizza, which is not in Brooklyn.
Where is obviously not. It's called Brooklyn Pizza.
This is in Hackensack.
Hackensack.
And-
Jersey has great pizza though.
Yep. And I think they have another shop in Edgewater. If I'm
And
not
what kind
mistaken.
of pizza did you get?
So I got you got a plain. So this one is a garlic and onions. So you got the plain one, and it's Chris's fault. He gave you the whack one. But let's open
Sorry, I
these.
dropped my headphones.
Ba-
Listen, I don't know what's in the bag. I just grabbed the bags. And
Yeah,
put it
whatever,
on the
Chris.
table.
You did it on purpose. It's okay. But yeah, this is the pizza that
It's good.
you've been making me wait to eat all this time. No?
I'm sorry. I gotta try that. I gotta try that one. Let me get a slice.
Yeah,
of
yeah.
that.
go for it, man. Go. This is your house. So
Yeah,
don't-
I think we need to buy one of them stuff
Here,
those,
take it, bro. Take it.
those infrared ovens that they have in restaurants to keep stuff hot.
That's right.
All right. This is delicious. I want to try this one before we cut it.
What do you think? Be much better if it was hot.
Very good.
But Chris, gotta heat this shit up and enjoy it, man. But
I'm sorry. It's a photography and a tattoo studio.
Yeah,
We don't keep
no, no.
ovens around.
all good, man. All good.
This is great.
Yeah, so I love pizza.
Yeah.
And Mexican food, big fan of. Indian food, not so much lately. I think I played that shit out. But yeah, pizza's my go-to food, man.
I've seen a couple like places that combine, like fusion. Right? I told you there's this place, Taco Mahal, which is Mexican food, tacos and Indian food.
I still can't believe that.
We should do Indian and pizza.
Oh my God, I've seen that.
Non-bread Indian pizza.
Yeah. I've seen pizza with chicken tikka
Yeah.
on it. So it's happening. But yeah, we should rock it.
Well, we
man.
should
rock
find
it.
where it is. And
Right, exactly.
than
I don't remember where
starting
it
a
is, yeah.
business.
I don't remember where it is.
Saroosh, I think we could have you on the show again. 'Cause
I'd love
you
it,
got
man.
Great stories. We're gonna have.
You're the
I think
man.
we should have you on the show when we have like we're gonna do some more stuff. We might get we're gonna have a better set couch. Maybe get more than just two
Better than
people.
this?
Hard to believe, but yes.
This is awesome, man. This is
Yeah.
awesome. Looking forward, man.
We'll have you back, and I know whenever you have any updates you want to share for EventCombo, we'll have you step up here.
Absolutely.
Maybe get some of your team on here. Yeah.
Yeah, it'll be totally sweet. Jeremy, this was such a good experience, man. Totally loved every second of it.
Well, you got to
And,
make sure your team gets on to the outsiders first. They can't
Yes.
come on here unless they do an
Yeah,
outsiders.
yeah.
I think there's like a 1,000-mile bike ride they can do.
Yeah, exactly.
He didn't show up for the 100-mile Centennial ride and 9/11 ride.
That I was supposed to be there. Some
All right, Saroosh is not here. I'm shocked.
exactly. No, but that was supposed to be the journey. But what we did was the Stairway to Heaven, right?
The hike was actually
That
nice
was
to have
so
you
much
on.
fun.
Well,
And you
Stairway to Heaven's that's a
Yeah.
great hike because
But-
there's a lot of good stuff to
But
see.
there's the end, which actually when you came we couldn't
We
do
didn't
because
do
of
it,
the snow.
yeah.
you guys didn't go?
Well, we've done it before, but when
Lucky
you came,
Chris.
No, I mean it would have been nice to go up there. It was nice when you got up there, right?
It was awesome. Yeah.
On that
So-
note, we have you back, but I'm starving. This
Eat,
is
man.
the only
Same
place
here.
I eat food. So, thank you. Cheers. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll have you back. There you guys.
Thank you, Chris. Awesome. Thanks, Jeremy.
Mm.